Hello everyone, welcome to the Reconverted Catholic. My name is CV and I am the Reconverted Catholic. Thanks for stopping by my channel here. For those of you who watched my welcome to my channel video, which I just posted actually today. So I'm making this next video here on the same day, hence why I'm wearing the same shirt here. Although if you do watch future videos, I'm pretty minimalist in some ways, including clothes I wear and the colors I wear too. Yes, I have a lot of gray, a lot of black for sure, some brown, a little bit of green, but mostly gray and black. Many shades of black, many shades of gray. Not to be confused with the book's 50 Shades of Gray, although I probably do have 50 shades of gray shirts. So if you can forgive that, hopefully the content will be somewhat entertaining, or maybe not so entertaining, or maybe really entertaining, or you decide. As I mentioned also in my welcome video, this is kind of right now a no-frills channel, almost like starting construction on a new home and just building the home and first the frame, the foundation of the frame, and etc. Same thing with this channel, it's a work in progress. But I do hope you enjoy the content along the way. And with that, this first video will be part one of a three-part series about my reconversion to Catholicism. So actually the complete story being how I went from being Catholic to, a skeptic in between for some time, to a Protestant, to back to a Catholic, to then a what's called new atheist, and then back to Catholic. So get ready for that ride. It's definitely been an interesting experience for sure throughout my life. But with that, let's go ahead and dive into the first part. So in this video, I'm going to focus mostly on my start as a Catholic, growing up Catholic, and actually starting with my confirmation, which for those of you who may not be so familiar with Catholic Christian faith, confirmation is one of sacraments we receive, what we call sacraments, and there'll actually be another video in the future that are talking more about that. But in the meantime, this will actually start right about there, and then how I fell away from the my beliefs, my Catholic belief, and then became a bit of a skeptic and kind of a rebel for a while. So hope you enjoy this, and let's go ahead and get started. So it was spring of 1990. I was rocking a bi-level mullet. In other words, business on top and party in the back hairstyle. Yes, I had that, and I'm dating myself too. Short sleeve button-down shirt with the sleeves rolled up to make my then developing arms look quasi-muscular. A knockoff pair of Docker-style khaki pants and oversized Nike high tops. Those were all the rage then. That were also like wearing laced-up cement shoes. They seriously were really heavy shoes, but I liked them then. And that was my own brand of what I considered dressing up at that time. And it was necessary for one special Sunday in 1990. I was receiving the sacrament of confirmation at the Catholic church I attended, or I should say the church that my parents made me attend. Again, growing up a Catholic, or I think the term is, they call it cradle Catholic, I believe too, if you were born, baptized, raised Catholic. Anyhow, for years I had prepared for this moment. I received baptism as an infant twice, but that's a story for another time. Penance at age 8. Another sacrament, First Communion, yet another sacrament at age 9, and now I was completing yet another sacrament on my way to the priesthood. Yes, you heard that right. I wanted to be a Catholic priest. Believe it or not, my own parents weren't quite privy to this. Well, I should say, as a sidebar, I've always had this quirk, if you will, about not revealing a goal or much about a goal unless I make a committed choice to pursue it. Or else jinx myself if I reveal too much too soon. I know, kind of a weird quirk, but that's one of my quirks. Now it was time for the moment of truth. I had chosen my confirmation name after St. Prosper, so this is also part of the tradition. and receiving the sacrament is choosing a name from a saint, either a favorite saint or one studied. So I had chosen my confirmation name after St. Prosper, which then led to an awkward moment in front of the entire congregation when the priest, Father Romero, announced that he had never heard of St. Prosper, and to explain how I discovered him. Well, being a kid from a heavily Italian, devout Catholic family, I just so happened to have my parents' Lives of the Saints book on hand and had the satisfaction of exclaiming, "Ha, see?" as I pointed out St. Prosper in that book. So why did I choose St. Prosper? He was a bit of a renegade. He was cut his own path in life kind of guy. And keep in mind, I was 17. So anybody who represented teenage rebellion or standing up to the status quo was my hero. In fact, St. Prosper was such a big influence in my life that I ironically left the Catholic Church a year later. Yes, I thought I had truly prospered. Yep, pun shamelessly intended. But why did I leave Catholicism? Truth be told, it wasn't just about St. Prosper. It was also about a female friend of mine, Cindy, who was also a co-worker at the grocery store where I unfortunately bagged groceries and push carts for, yes, 3 years. 3 long years when you're a teenager. See, this friend of mine was 8 years older than me at the time, though she had apparently taken a liking to me in a strictly platonic way. We had spent many hours every week purposely having me bag groceries at her register and often taking breaks on the same schedule so that we could share a mutual interest in deep philosophical conversations, or at least how I defined philosophy at that time. So during one conversation, which carried over many sessions of bagging groceries at Cindy's register, Cindy was relentlessly curious about my Catholic faith. And though Cindy herself was agnostic, she asked many of the usual questions that, well, Protestants often ask Catholics. Why do you worship Mary? Why do you worship statues? Why does the Catholic Church have so many doctrines? Why doesn't the Church just give in and let priests marry? Why not just believe in Jesus and forget all the rules and regulations? And, how do you know Catholicism is true? And it was that last question that threw me into a tailspin. Yes, Cindy had a good point. Why had I spent the last 18 years believing in something if I couldn't answer why I thought it was true? And apparently saying, because that's what I believe, didn't cut it. Next stop, college. Yes, the place that religious parents want their kids to gain a higher education, yet brace themselves for the 101 classes in psychology and philosophy that arm 18-year-olds with a machine gun ammo belt full of newfound knowledge to drive parents into a mental breakdown. Like, for example, my professor taught us how Epicurus showed that God is not real, or that, according to Nietzsche, God is dead. So, oh yes, I was now a qualified armchair philosopher who had seen the light. Of course, that was not without me going through a bit of an existential crisis, being angry at my parents for duping me into believing something that I couldn't defend, and spending hours at a time every day asking the same question that most skeptics going through an existential crisis ask. Like, for example, what is my purpose in life? Why should I believe in a higher power at all? How can any religious person refute Epicurus' famous or infamous position on that being or thing or whatever you want to call it called God? So I did what any hormonally charged, know-it-all, rebellious, almost 20-year-old teenager would do. I joined a band. Okay, not every teenager joins a band, of course. And here's a good time to mention that I have been a guitarist composer since age 14. Also mentioned that in my welcome video. And then I had a thing for anti-establishment, free-thinking bands that proudly gave conservative society the middle finger any chance they had. Also keep in mind that pop music in the 80s was the epitome of cheesy bubblegum compared to today's pop music, although that's a whole other conversation in itself. So in bands such as Metallica, Anthrax, Megadeth, and Sepultura, yes, I'm going old school here, those metal bands, when they became widely popular, I joined the growing herd of metal fans and found a friendship in people who explored the dark side of human existence. That life as a middle-class kid was really an illusion of normalcy, and that rules and regulations were just for tyrants who hate freedom and want people to be robots to the system. So that'll wrap up for this first part video. Tells you a little bit about my falling off from the Catholic faith, and then starting to embrace some skepticism, and you know, where I was going to go with that next. But in part 2, we'll talk more about my foray into skepticism and questioning my beliefs, and then becoming born again and Protestant with that. So hope you enjoyed this video. Give the usual blurb of please like and subscribe. Would definitely appreciate it. Love to get your comments here too. Try to be nice. Go easy on me. Again, I don't qualify myself as just a really super hip YouTuber, but I hope you enjoy this story, and feel free to comment on it. And also feel free to, if you have any questions or just like to email me directly, that's at trcatholic@gmail.com. So that's TR Tango Romeo Catholic. That's me, Catholic, at gmail.com. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Part 2. Stay tuned for it. Thanks.